Hello everyone, I am Kariliz Perez with Stone & Fields, and I'm here today with Tobias Engel from Stone & Fields as well. He's a licensed realtor and a professional stager for the last 5 years. Welcome, Toby. How are you doing?
Hi, Kariliz. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I'm very excited to have one of our own. I want to talk to you about the market in general. What's happening in Houston? Can you tell me a little bit about Houston real estate market?
Well, the Houston real estate market is a little bit crazy, and it's a good time to be a seller, but to be a buyer or even for a realtor, it's quite a challenge. Mm-hmm. And the increase in sales from month to month and versus last year is incredible percentages that we're seeing.
Right. I saw that there is 1.4 months of inventory. Tell me about that.
So, in other words, that means because that refers to how long it takes to sell a home, or how long before all the inventory would be sold out if nothing was added. But I see here that days on the market dropped from 65 days in average to 45. So that's a drop of 20 days. That means that if you have a house to sell, within 45 days, you can expect it to be sold. And that's the average.
Right. And let's make clear that these may vary depending on the market area in Houston, but in general, that's what we should expect, and that's what's happening today, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So of all the properties that were sold in Houston last month, or in March, we're talking about March, it went up by 30% compared to last year. So that's huge. For single family homes, it's 24%. So they have an enormous effect on the prices of the market.
Right. And how about what's going on with new listings? We're not seeing much of that, or we're pretty much the same. What do you think about that?
Well, there's the incremental, new listings is too short. Because the inventory keeps on dropping, meaning there's more purchased than enters the market.
Right.
So
it's everything.
It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter.
Correct.
Basically.
Everything is about supply and demand, and there's a lot more demand than supply. And this is why also we see an increase in prices. We are also seeing and experiencing an extremely bigger and amount of multiple offers. You even experience that situation. Tell me about your experience. It was just recently, about a month ago?
Yes. So I put a duplex on the market. Mm-hmm. And within the first week, I received more than 6 offers. And it's quite an interesting situation to be in, obviously, like which offer do you choose? And it's not always the offer that you think is the best that turns out to be the best. You have to choose and be careful. Or be very aware of all the different variables in an offer and how that could work out for your seller, for your client. Right,
because things may vary. It could be not only the down payment amount, or when is it that they want to close, or how solid the pre-approval. It's a whole package, right? So it is what Toby is saying. We have to really get into, study the offer clearly and make sure we understand it and it fits the seller's needs at the time of selling the house, right? Mm-hmm.
So in this case, for instance, and I think many realtors and sellers run into this, is that the price that they accept at the end does not meet the appraisal value. And so it seems like appraisals are lagging behind the actual market development, and that's something you have to deal with. So therefore, maybe it's worthwhile, but that's a maybe, to choose a lower offer, but someone with a larger cash portion in the offer, or someone who has well-filled pockets,
right?
That he can meet you at least somewhere across the middle, if not all the way, to make the deal happen.
That is so true. And you mentioned something that is really important, which is appraisals. Appraisals is a very crucial part of the whole process, and it doesn't happen at the very early stages. It happens more towards the end of the process. The lender probably requires a 30-day closing, so the appraiser might happen between the 20th day or so, but we're experiencing delays with the appraisal. So we're seeing that the appraiser doesn't come back probably until the day before closing. And just let it be known, a lot of stress happens because, you know, you can't close without knowing the appraisal value of the house, right? It's what determines if the house is worth what the contract says and what has been agreed. And we're seeing a lot of delays.
There's no negotiating with the lender. You know, if the appraisal doesn't meet its requirements, it's a no, and it's a no, and it's a no.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see, because of the prices going up, it's really, sad to see that houses don't appraise at the value, and then they have to renegotiate and start the whole process again in some cases. So this definitely is possible. Tell me a lot about when you went to buy the house. This was when you were selling the duplex. How did it go when you were buying, you as the buyer?
We bought a home ourselves. So I was representing my husband, in fact, and myself in this purchase. And we were looking for a relatively new home. And the home we ended up buying was from 2014. So that's not too old. And you kind of expect everything to be tip-top in order because nothing really in the house is old, considered to be old. And we did have an inspection, but I was like, do we really need to inspect? But let me tell you, yes, you need to inspect because things come out, and even the newer houses or even a new construction.
Right.
And so in our case, the inspector did not run the air conditioning because the outside temperatures were below 60 degrees. And then an inspector will not switch on the AC at all. And so we did not run the AC, and it turns out we need a new installation.
Oh, wow.
Right. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
you never know, right?
People out there, tell your buyers, but also for yourself, inspect, because you just never know.
Right.
There's no guaranteed deal.
That is so true.
Yeah.
And even with new construction, like you just said, it's very important. Let's keep it in mind in a very simple way. Houses are built by human beings, and human beings do make mistakes, right?
Yes.
So with that in mind, it's like a no-brainer to definitely conduct the inspection before purchasing a house.
Yes. Well, you live in a new home yourself.
Yes.
You have problems with your heater.
Absolutely. Right. Don't we all?
Yeah.
Anyways, is there anything else that you would like to talk about or share with everybody about the market in general? Any advice?
There was just one thing that caught my eye, and that is that of all the offers made, 20% of the offers came from investors.
Wow.
Which seems really high.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Do you think these investors are local, or do you think they're coming in from other states?
There's definitely investors coming from out of state. And in Houston in particular, despite the prices of real estate going up quick, it's still at a relatively low level.
Still very affordable.
Yeah, and probably this is also driven by, low interest rates, but these investors have deep pockets as well. So as a, ordinary buyer, you're up against professionals,
right? And cash, lots of cash. Yes.
And if part of your offer is a lot of cash, then you're good in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That is so true. So true. Very important and very useful and valuable information. Thank you so much, Toby. I appreciate your time. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call. Toby, what's your phone number?
My phone number is 832-922-8024. And I'm waiting for your calls.
Thank you very much. You have a good day.